I'm in love with the shape of you. Hey guys, Adam Zampa here. I'm with the great man Jake Ball, and we are here doing the Dubai Capitals podcast. Hope you enjoy it. Bit of a unique one. Bit of it's franchise cricket that we play.
Yeah.
There's an Aussie and an Englishman sitting together. There's obviously a bit of a rivalry there. How's that feel, mate? What's it like playing with an Australian?
I'm very comfortable with it, mate, to be honest with you.
We're very comfortable together.
We are very comfortable together. We obviously played last year together at the Welsh Fire, so yeah, I think we know each other reasonably well, and I think that's the nature of franchise cricket. You have to learn to play with your enemies every now and again, don't you?
Well, yeah, you keep your enemies closer, they say. I mean, franchise cricket's really important. It gives you a connection to everyone in the world of cricket. I reckon times have changed in the cricket world a bit, where I reckon the Australian team back in the 90s used to just hate everyone and everyone hated them, and they probably didn't even have a beer with each other, whereas you and I are going for lovely dinners and wines together now.
Yeah, exactly. It's all sweet and harmonious, isn't it? I think you have to be when you come to these tournaments, because you're always learning from people, and you've got to be open, be able to go out and have a few drinks together, go for coffees, have dinner together, because you're always learning. I think that's the beauty of these tournaments. You're playing with the best in the world, so it's always nice to go for coffees and dinners and stuff and learn and talk about the game.
Absolutely.
Do you think that the Ashes rivalry spills over into the ODIs and the T20s, mate?
You'd be able to tell me this. What's the Ashes rivalry like? You've played Ashes Test matches, haven't you?
Yeah.
How many?
Just the one.
What was the rivalry like?
It was more intense than I anticipated. I think because I played in Australia.
Where'd you play?
I played at the Gabatoir.
Nice.
Played the first one, so it was. You got all the build up getting into it. The thing that struck me about the rivalry is how much the country gets behind their team, and the media was doing everything they could to try and unsettle and upset what was happening in our camp. We had quite a while before the first test, and there was always stuff trying to come out in the newspapers about what was happening in our camp and other things like that. Most of it obviously not true, but yeah, I think the rivalry in Ashes cricket for me felt more intense than whenever I've played one days in T20s.
Yeah, I'd assume the same as well. Obviously, the rivalries when Australia play England, it's always strong. But yeah, I've got a feeling that when the Ashes are on the line, there's a bit extra.
Yeah, it definitely did feel that way. And also when we generally play in ODIs and T20s, we just beat you anyway.
God, we just beat you 3-0.
I know, I wasn't playing, was I?
Yeah, true. You would have been the difference.
Yeah. Zamps. But you've started this tournament so well. The consistency has been incredible over your first 3 games. How do you maintain that? What do you put that down to?
Thanks, Paulie. I appreciate the kind words from you. Firstly, I thought I'd just mention that. It's a beautiful gesture. I have some philosophies that I kind of stick to and go by every time I play cricket, whether or not it'd be assessing the conditions, using my knowledge and my experience of conditions and players and being prepared well that way. And then I try and just be super clear at the top of my mark. So I'd like to think over time I've turned myself into a bit of a banker in T20 cricket. I don't have a lot of bad days, and I put that down to just being a bit extra prepared, and then just when I'm sitting there at the top of my mark, just being clear as day. I feel like as a bowler, if you're second guessing your field or what ball you're going to bowl, it makes it a lot harder to execute. Whereas if you just commit to something, it's that's my philosophy. It's probably a little bit harder as a quick. It's probably more.
I think the philosophy is still the same. I think whenever you second guess yourself or doubt whatever you're doing halfway through your run up, or maybe just as you're about to deliver the ball, I'd say 9 times out of 10 you're gonna miss what you wanted to do. So I think the fact that you're saying that you're as clear as day and understanding what you want to do, I think that's such a big part of why you have been so successful so far in the tournament. Have you noticed any difference in the pitches? Obviously you've just been playing in the Big Bash. Do you think the pitches are too dissimilar to what you played on here?
Yeah, a bit different. Actually, the wickets are a bit different to what I have been used to in the UAE as well. I think at the time of the year, I've never played in the UAE during February, January. Obviously the weather's a lot cooler than usual. Sun goes down early. And yeah, I mean, usually you'll see the dew take a huge effect on the game, whereas like obviously last night we got outplayed by Desert Vipers, but yeah, I just felt like there was still a little bit of slowness in the wicket, a little bit of tackiness and a bit of spin even in the second innings, whereas usually when you play here you got to bowl first. That's when the wicket's slow. You can kind of stop the scoring and then you can basically chase down anything in the second inning. So yeah, I don't know, I like these pitches just because I feel like as a skiddy leg spin bowler you can get the ball to bounce low and make it hard.
I find them all very different pitches as well. Sharjah, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, I think they've all got very different things about them. Some obviously you see that the bounce is lower, or some might take spin a bit more or whatever, but certainly as a seamer bowling at the front and the back, they'll definitely notice a difference in the bounce in all three. So it's interesting to have to adapt your game to the different venues.
Yeah.
It is, isn't it?
It's true. No, I didn't know this, but it didn't take you very long to join the ODI 5 for club. It's obviously a pretty cool achievement in Bangladesh.
Yeah.
Am I right?
You are right, yeah.
Can you talk us through it? Just give us a brief rundown of that.
Brief rundown, yeah.
How it felt.
Obviously.
And who were the wickets?
Oh,
Or 5 of them?
I can't remember. It was all a bit of a blur, to be honest. When I was out there, it was stinking hot, and the game was sort of slipping away from us a little bit. I think I got maybe 1 or 2 in my first spell, but the game was going away from us. I think they needed something like 50 or something to win with maybe 5-6 wickets in hand, and we had a drinks break because it was so hot. And I remember Stokesy getting the boys in and just giving us a bit of a rocket, really, just saying, the game just seemed to be drifting away and we weren't really doing anything. And yeah, he came in and gave us all a rocket, and he said, look, we need to up our game, and then gave me the ball. And
what did you do? Was there a bit of reverse tang or something? What was
it? There's a little bit of reverse, but I think there's a couple of bad shots in there. But it was just one of those things where once we got one, we got on top, and the sort of snowball effect, and it just kept happening. That night was my night, and we managed to. I think we won the game by about 15-20 runs in the end. So it was a big moment for me.
Did you get man of the match?
I did get man of the match.
Yes.
So yeah, it was nice, because sometimes I feel like when you come into a new team, you want to sort of express and be able to feel comfortable by, I think as athletes, like we feel comfortable in environments when we've made like a performance, or you feel like you've got the respect or something of your fellow teammates. And I think to have got that in my first game and shown the rest of the lads what I could do on the international stage sort of really helped me settle down. And
was that your first game for England? So had you played the other formats?
I'd played one test the previous summer, But yeah, that was my first. It was my first one white ball tour. Didn't expect to go and play, to be honest. I was there sort of to get ready more for the tests that were happening a few weeks later. But Liam Plunkett got injured in the warm-up game. Found out the day before that I was just going to be thrusted in, and yeah, it played the rest of the series, and I think I was leading wicket taker for the series. So it was a nice one. But yeah, it's one of those things. Cheers.
I've never congratulated you for it.
Yeah.
So well done.
Thank you. Hey, what's your most memorable moment, do you reckon, in your long and illustrious career?
Probably winning the World Cup. Obviously here last year, 2021, and no one really gave us a shot at it. I think before the World Cup, we went to Bangladesh and lost 5-game series 4-1. Got beaten by West Indies 4-1 just before that. And I think, we just had a terrible 18 months in T20 cricket. And we went over, and I actually felt like there was probably a lack of confidence in the group, but when you look down our 11, it was a strong team. I think we had a bit of a kick in the backside. We got absolutely hammered by England. And it almost looked like our World Cup was over because we needed to get our run rate back up and win every game. The media tore us to bits after we got smashed by England. So to turn that around and then win it when you're written off it was a bloody good feeling.
What would you put that down to, do you reckon? Was there a moment where you was like, sometimes you're in a dressing room after a 1 win or something happens, somebody scores a big 100 and you look around and you feel like, we're going now, we're taking?
Yeah, we played Bangladesh at Dubai and we bowled them out for, must have been 80 or 80 odd, and we got the runs in 7 overs, and that just flicked a switch. We got our run rate back up, and then it was just basically right now it was time to turn it on. We had maybe 2 more games after that, and we needed to beat West Indies, and West Indies are a dangerous team. They called our group the group of death, because you had West Indies, who had all the T20 stars playing, Bangladesh, who'd just beaten us 4-1 in Bangladesh, so there was a few demons there. England. Who else did we play? South Africa.
Group.
Yeah, it was a tough group. Maybe even Sri Lanka as well. Sri Lanka and Bangladesh were the qualifiers. Sometimes in those competitions, you get like a Holland or Scotland in your group, whereas we
didn't have that.
We didn't have that. So it was a group of death. But probably that game against Bangladesh, and then we just won really big moments from there, like against Pakistan. Shadab in the semi-final. Shadab Khan bowled really well, got 4 wickets. We didn't play him well at all, and then Matty Wade and Stoinie got it done. I still remember, because we had a few demons against England back then.
Yeah.
And we made the final first. And if England had won their semi, I felt like we were going into it with like, we don't play well against these guys.
Yeah.
Not saying that we weren't going to win, but we felt like we've got our number.
Yeah,
like,
you have
we've
those
got
teams, don't you?
We got New Zealand's our team, and we feel like we got their number most times.
Yeah.
So I remember Daryl Mitchell or someone hitting the winning runs in the semi-final, and we were like, all right, we're on now.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's dance.
Strange, that, isn't it?
And it was a good night. It was a good night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One game when you're feeling so down and things, one game can change a tournament or change the mentality of a whole team. It's interesting, isn't it? In
so
sport.
much fun. Oh, I loved it. So much fun.
Do you have any I mean, you're obviously an exceptional white ball bowler. Do you have any aspirations to stick on the baggy green at any point, or?
Yeah, I'd like to. I'm not sure how it's going to happen, honestly. Like I missed out on the current Indian tour, and I'm playing a lot of white ball cricket for Australia, so there's not a lot of opportunity to play any Sheffield Shield cricket. But I'll have some Sheffield Shield cricket coming up soon. Yeah, I mean, I like to play any cricket I can, so if I do well in it and then there's an opportunity later down the track for the baggy green, then so be it. But at the moment, I'm really enjoying this. Like, I didn't see the Dubai Capitals as an opportunity 2 weeks ago, but now I'm here and it's a good competition and really enjoying the franchise. So, yeah.
Is that still the thing in like the pinnacle, do you say, in Australia? Like the lads coming through now, do they see more like the franchise as being what they want to do, or does everyone still have that aspiration to play Test cricket?
Not everyone. Like, I think there's guys who, the baggy green's seen as the pinnacle.
Yeah.
It always has been. But then you got guys coming through now like Tim David, who just got no interest in it. And there'll be more like that, no doubt.
Yeah, I definitely think in England now there's more younger lads coming through that talk more about franchise cricket and T20 cricket, whatever it's 100 ball cricket, rather than Test cricket. And I think, not quite sure how I feel about that, but I think we probably grew up when Test cricket was. I mean, the thing for me was the 2005 Ashes. I remember sitting at home watching that with my brother and thinking, I want to play Test cricket.
That was an awesome series.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'd like the idea of like having a baggy green, being out there and like being a part of a game like that.
Yeah.
Where you look around and there's a big crowd, everyone's getting drunk. Everyone's spraying you, sledging you from the sidelines, and it's there's singing going on, and I like the idea of that. But I don't know. I'd have I mean, it's a personal choice. If my son said to me that he goes, I want to learn how to hit sixes and bowl funky spin and play T20 cricket, I'd understand.
Yeah. That would be an imitation of you, wouldn't it? Hitting big sixes and bowling for funky spin.
Yeah, he might need a different batting pitch.
I don't know. I saw the little scoop yesterday. That was a great shot.
What's a highlight of your career?
Probably rolls in quite well from the last bit, but probably making my Test debut at Lords.
Was it at Lords?
It was at Lords, Pakistan.
Cool.
It was the first. No, it wasn't the first Test of the summer, but it was the first Test of that series. It was always like having Pakistan over is always a big one for English teams. So to play that, and it was at Lords. I opened the bowling with Brodie, who's a good mate, obviously from Nottingham. So managed to get out there on the first morning. We bowled first, and I remember it was a almost perfect day, because it wasn't perfect for bowling because it was clear blue skies, and but it was almost one of those like really surreal moments where I opened the bowling and I bowled my first 5 or 6 overs, was absolutely shattered. It's just one of those things, like bit of nervous energy, bit of like just wanting to do well. I had a couple of close LB shots. In fact, I had an LBW shot my first over. And it's the first time I've ever used the DRS. I never had it in my life before then, and I was like, went to Chef was at first. I was like, that's out. Pitched about this far outside leg stump, but it was it was good fun. And it wasn't actually until I'd finished my bowling spell, maybe 6 or 7 overs, and I stood at fine leg, and it was a packed Lords, people popping champagne bottles and getting, like you say, getting drunk, and it was I had a 5-10 minute very surreal moment of thinking that you're out playing
awesome.
Test cricket, something that
Definitely.
You've like
Especially Lords.
Lords. I think that they're all Trent Bridge. Well, one of my big regrets so far is that I haven't played international cricket at Trent Bridge. Been around teams and run a lot of drinks at there, but with that being my home ground, it would have been amazing to wear the England shirt there. But not everything's perfect as it, Zamps.
No, not always. I've been lucky enough that I've played a lot of international cricket at the SCG, and I grew up close to there, and I remember being a kid, and times have changed now, but you used to get like an email from ticketek.com, and it'd be like pre-order your tickets, and my family would be like, Mum and Dad would be like, we bought your tickets, we're going to the SCG in 2 months' time. And it was always only one ODI at the SCG a year or something, so I was like most excited boy in the world. So it's pretty exciting now that I get to play there in front of family. Yeah.
If you wasn't a cricketer, what would you reckon you'd be? I know how much you love the game, but if you wasn't here right now, if you didn't have the career you've had, where do you reckon you'd be?
Are you asking me as if cricket never existed for me?
I'm asking you as if cricket never existed.
Oh, right, so I had to get a job.
So you
13 years ago, after high school.
You leave school with all those A's and A stars, and you go to university and practice.
I honestly don't know. I think I would have got it wrong. I think 18-year-old Adam Zampa would have wanted to.
It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you don't know, because cricket.
Yeah, I know what I'd like to do now if I'm not playing cricket, but I don't think if you told 18-year-old Adam Zampa.
Okay, so if you wasn't playing cricket now, what would you do?
It'd be an outdoor job.
Yeah.
It would be something to do with like sustainability, food, maybe even like coffee.
You do enjoy a coffee.
Yeah. So I love good produce, and Australia has really good produce, and obviously I live on a farm, so I think if I had to quit cricket today and move into something, naturally it would be farming, something to do with sustainability. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, but I think 18-year-old Adam Zampa would have wanted to
go into that.
Own a nightclub.
Yeah, like most 18-year-olds, I'd have thought.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, similar question.
Yeah.
What's your favourite thing outside of cricket?
I mean, outside of my lovely girlfriend, my big love and passion in life is Everton Football Club, which isn't good at the minute, and I know I shouldn't admit that I'm an Everton fan right now, but I try to watch every game, and if they don't win, it ruins my weekend. But I'm just a typical English football fan that just loves his team.
That's the beauty of sport, though. I'm the same. I'm a rugby league fan.
Nice. It's big in Australia, isn't it?
It's big in New South Wales.
Yeah.
Aussie rules football is the one. It's the one, and it's great. Like, I bias, but I think AFL is like best sport in the world.
Yeah. In terms of like how athletic they need to be, or they are very fit guys, aren't they? I must admit.
They need to be fit. They're probably the fittest athletes in the world.
Yeah.
They need to be skillful. They need to be tough.
Very tough.
Like rugby league, you kind of know whether, like, obviously you got to be tough to play rugby league. I'm last in one game in a rugby league game. Got to be tough, but AFL, you don't know where guys are hitting you from.
Yeah.
Got to kick and you got to catch it. You don't know if the guy's coming from there or two guys are coming to tackle you.
Yeah.
You got to get back up and keep running for 25 kilometres.
I don't have a big backlog of games that I can call upon, but I did watch the grand final maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I remember just sitting down. It was like a Saturday morning at home, sitting down with my coffee, and I must have been watching something on BT the night before, and it came on, and within 5 minutes 2 guys got stretchered off like concussion, probably not knowing their own names, but it's just it was, I don't know if that was just that specific game with it being a grand final, but it was like brutal.
It can be brutal.
And they're playing your summer, or is it like winter?
Yeah, winter.
It's still winter.
So it's like starts in March, finishes in September.
Yeah. Well, I went over to Australia in 2009 and went to an academy out there, and we actually trained 2 days with the Adelaide Crows. I couldn't believe how fit those guys are, like doing the 2 or 3 Ks, like time trials, and but the facilities were incredible. I couldn't believe how good the facilities are.
Yeah. How
well those guys are looked after. It's proper.
When you did that, were Adelaide Crows still that Adelaide Oval, or were they had their own facility out at West Beach?
Yeah, they had their own bit.
West Beach, some one of the beaches out there.
Yeah. No, it must have just happened because it felt like quite. Yeah. Like everything felt new, and I
still think they're out there, but they play at Adelaide Oval these days.
Yeah.
You've got a bit of match fitness under your belt now.
Mm-hmm.
Played this tournament. Got a game to go. Hopefully more.
Mm-hmm.
It's not looking good.
Yeah.
But hopefully more.
Yeah.
What's next? Obviously you got stuff in Nottingham when you get home, but there's a little bit in between that. Anything else after that?
No, probably not. I think probably from here I'll just go back and get ready for the Notts Red Bull season. I think I've only managed 1 game in the last 2 years because of my injury, and I think now that everything's all cleared and fine, and got the all clear from the surgery and everything to just play cricket as I normally would. I'm just really looking forward to going and playing 4-day cricket again. I think Notts have actually been really successful over the last couple of years while I've not been playing. I don't know if that's because I've not been playing or what, but what I mentioned earlier about watching how successful they've been over the last couple of years, and I had a very tough time with Notts leading up to that. I think we didn't win a game for maybe like a year and a half, maybe even 2 years, and it was such the team 4-day wise was in such a bad place, and now we feel like we've come through that and gone on, and I feel like we're in a much better place than we was before we started going into that. So I think we've got a lot of good young lads coming through that have now established themselves. Obviously Ducky's gone on to play for England, people like that, so I think I'm just looking forward to getting back and getting involved in that and contributing in that. So I think it's going to hopefully be a exciting summer at home, with a bit of T20 cricket, maybe a bit of 100-ball cricket, mate.
A bit of 100-ball cricket together, hopefully.
Exactly, yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Welsh Fire.
Yeah. I suppose that leads quite well into, you always, whenever I've played with you or watched you, you always seem like very cool, calm, collected guy. Is there anything you do while you're on the field or off the field to maintain that?
I was just born cool, mate.
Just born cool.
Yeah, that's it.
Some people are just born cool, aren't they?
Cool. I'm just cool. No, it might just be an illusion. I feel like maybe I'm calm and relaxed. I try and be calm and relaxed, but I've got a competitive bone in me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean I can get it wrong sometimes as well. But yeah, I just feel like cricket. I see it for what it is. It's a lovely job. Love doing it. Love travelling the world and doing it. But I try not to take it to heart sometimes.
Yeah. I think that's key in T20. You know, somebody's gonna get you at some point. You're not gonna bowl every game and get 3 for 16. Although you have been doing that quite regular. But yeah, I think that's key, and I think we're all competitive people. That's why we're here. That's why we're professional athletes. You don't get to the level that we've got to without having that real competitive edge. But I think it comes out and shows in different ways, doesn't it? Some people are very out there and show their emotions, wear their heart on their sleeve, and then there's other people, mate, and then they're just sort of keep it within.
Different type of people in the game, and that's why it's so good. If everyone was cool, calm and collected, it would be boring.
Exactly.
But yeah, some people are very extra competitive, angry, aggressive. Some people aren't. Like you're angry and aggressive, aren't you, Bawley?
Yeah, all the time. That's why we love the game, isn't it, mate? That's why we love it.
Well, Bawley, thanks for your time today, mate.
Thank you for your time on your day off. Come in and
I hope the viewers enjoy this one. I hope they got a good insight to life with Jake Ball
and Adam Zampa. The cool, calm, collected man that wishes he was on a farm.
The Cool Calm Podcast.